What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Action Sunday. I am counting down the weeks until my 200th episode. The polls are still open to vote for which Schwarzenegger movie for you to vote and for me to review on my 200th episode. Not to mention, I've decided to push the voting to the 24th, okay, which will be the week before Schwarzenegger's birthday, which, believe it or not, I've decided to actually make the 200th episode be on Schwarzenegger's birthday. So, because, hey, it's my channel, it's what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm going to, so yeah, I'm going to give you guys some more time to vote. And so far, it's a very split vote. So please, any deciding factors will count, because that way I can figure out which one of those two I will review. It's Terminator 2 or Total Recall, okay? The decision is in your hands. But anyway, let's change gears, okay? Let's talk about another action hero. His name is Steven Seagal. Yes, Mr. One Dimension himself. And if I'm about to offend any Steven Seagal fans, you may shoot me. But anyway, in the history of Steven Seagal films, obviously he has put out probably a lot since his big debut, which of course he debuted in Above the Law, which I was going to get to, but I didn't have time to. But today I've decided to do a Seagal double feature. So I decided to reach deep into his filmography and find a few movies that were available for me, and I did. So one of those is Sniper Special Ops, or Spec Ops for short, and the other one is from 1995. It's called The Patriot, not to be confused with Mel Gibson's The Patriot. And of course, that's more of a historical drama. This one's more of a, well, I'll get to it in a moment. But let's talk about both these movies, okay? Are they good? Are they bad? Which one is worse? Well, I'm about to tell you right now. And that's the first one, Sniper Spec Ops. The title is freaking misleading, okay? First off, there's one sniper in this movie, and you only see the sniper only in the first couple minutes of the movie. After that, it becomes like your traditional war movie. So, wow, good on you, Seagal, who's also the producer of this movie, to really shit the bed when it comes to a misleading title. So yeah, and not to mention, his character is is only on screen for 10 freaking minutes, and his character is supposed to be a hero. Wow, what a letdown. I talk about also big, heavy advertising, because since his name is featured heavily on the credits and the marketing, not only is it just him, but you also got Rob Van Dam. Yeah, you got another fellow battle creaker in this movie. So, yeah, I thought, hey, would it work? I think it kind of did, but here's the thing. Seagal and Van Dam's characters only interact very briefly throughout the movie. Yeah, what does that tell you? All this build up and this is what you get? Come on. And another crazy thing is that Seagal, once again, difficult man as he is did not want to do a lot in this movie. And believe it or not, the majority of this movie, like I said, his total screen time this entire movie is only 10 fucking minutes. And all he is just, he does the sniper thing, then somehow he gets left behind with an injured warrior, and he and him, and, Seagal and this injured soldier, both practically just camping out waiting for backup. And he's just a majority of the movie, he's just sitting there, on his ass. Really? And also, what's also laughably bad is it just me, or there's just the guns and everything look like a toy compared to him. I'm like, what the hell? He was not holding the gun properly. Seriously, me and my brother would have a field day with this movie. Seriously. I have never seen so many things that just make me want to yell, because I was like, there is no bloody way I can ever take Seagal seriously if he was going to play a sniper/military character when he doesn't even look like he could fit because of his weight, and of course, I hate to crack on his weight or his facial features. Because first off, you can't have a beard, your hair can't be a certain length, which was another thing I had a ding on this movie. It's like, obviously, Van Damme, famous for his trademark ponytail. I was like, how's he going to cover that up? Well, he kept it. I'm like, so, and majority of the guys in the platoon, as I call it, all their hair is long. I'm like, that's not regulation. I'm like, what the hell? What, they pick these random guys off the street just and say, okay, you're playing one of these spec ops. I'm like, are you kidding me? But at least some of these actors can act, unlike Seagal, who couldn't. And of course, I'm going to admit this right now. Say what you want. Van Damme, he can act. I've seen him in a few other movies. Like there's a movie called Wrong Side of Town. Oh, well, let's see. I don't know, more or less there. But Van Damme can act. Seagal can't, okay? And we're not, I felt like Van Damme's character meshed in everyone well with all the other characters that was in this movie, including Tim Abel's character, who technically was kind of like the hero in this movie because he was the head of the platoon. He gave the orders, like, and he really worked well with everyone here. And I felt bad for him trying to make things work with Seagal. And my God, Seagal was essentially like an afterthought in this movie. My fucking God. But hey, was the action top? Hell yeah, there was a lot of tense moments. I was expecting like a big explosion and all that. And yes, there were some explosions. There was a lot of gunfights. But man, there was some editing on this movie was just abysmal. Enough. What can I say about that? I don't know. But seriously, what I was expecting it to be more cool, be more involved, for Seagal's character to be more involved. Expected to be, oh, a platoon gets set behind, left behind in a war-torn Taliban operated village in the Middle East. Nope. Well, it's in a way it is kind of like that, but instead somehow it's all about, oh, Seagal's left behind. But I'm like, wow, talk about selflessness. But hey, I don't know. Not much else I can say about that. But what about The Patriot? Well, let's see. This movie came out in 95, and the plot, my God, almost mirrors the COVID-19 pandemic because, and also, and of course, as well as some real life, issues because Seagal is a doctor in the middle of Montana, and somehow this neo-Nazi white supremacist militant leader is trying to get revenge, and he's like he has this crazy vendetta, and somehow he sends out this crazy like virus that essentially would kill people in several hours. I was like, Jesus Christ, and how he did? He poisoned himself. I was like, Jesus Christ. And of course, the fact that, oh my God, we have an outbreak and they contain this town. I was like, oh my God, I was getting real life mirrors of like, oh shit, this is exactly what happened when COVID first hit. I was like, that's scary to think about. But hey, at least the tension was there. The story was good. But what about Seagal? Well, let's see. His acting, as you know, a little different. But hey, I found it to be interesting is that this felt more like a Western than an action movie. But even though like he and the bad guy, there's very little action. To me, the tenseness and the threat is more like it's more of like a chase. It's a hunt kind of thing. And like because a majority of the movie, it's like the first, it's a really slow build. It's like, okay, we have this happening, but then you slowly try to figure out what the hell can Seagal's character do to save everybody. And it goes from one thing, he takes his daughter, played by a super young Camila Bell. My goodness, she was like, it's like, as soon as I recognized her, I was like, wait a minute, is that Camila Bell? I'm like, she was cute as a child actress. And look at her now. I'm like, that's just saying. Of course, my wife's probably gonna slap me for saying this, but she still looks pretty today. But my goodness, what can I say there? Pretty good stuff. But I will say the last act of the movie, I think, is what brought everything together. It's like, okay, now the bad guy's probably had enough. He's like, give me the antidote or not. There's a bit of a fight, but then I'm like, wait, all this buildup, and I was like, this is how the villain dies. Instead of dying from poison, Seagal just stabs him in the head with the jagged edge of a wine glass. What? That's it. Then the ending, it's like, okay, they discovered that they know the cure, but they were like, okay, they're holding off on it. Then they finally give the cure. Everyone's saved, the town's saved, Seagal's redeemed. So I'm like, yeah, okay. It was a bit of a slow thing, but I will admit the set piece for this movie was a clever touch. Like you got this certain beautiful Montana world frontier and all this good stuff. I was like, for some reason, like I said, I felt like I was watching more of a Western. But once it devolved into more like a medical viral pandemic kind of movie, then it's like, oh shit. But then I did a little digging. I was like, this is actually based on a book called The Canadian. I was like, that's interesting. So maybe if I do a little more research, maybe there's something more to the story, and maybe I think I would understand what the hell was going on. But for what it was worth, the movie just, like I said, I wouldn't consider this an action movie. It felt like more like a viral thriller. Okay, the action sequences is only when he's got to fight these militant assholes, these white supremacists, as I call them, even though they're not technically white supremacists because they're all wearing militant character. I would say they're more like their own private militia. I don't know. I don't want to get into too much semantics or specifics, but I think you guys should check this movie out. Is it Seagal's best? I would say it's middle of the road. I would totally for this movie over the Sniper Spec Ops because that one was just garbage. Okay, so yeah. Between the two, I'd say go with the Patriot. Of course, obviously I would say the 90s were when Seagal was just breaking out. Even though his acting, as you know, not as depth, not too deep or anything. He's got one mode. You've heard me say this before. He doesn't get out of it, but God, but at least the stories for those movies are good. Okay, I've reviewed movies like Fire Down Below and Under Siege before, but to me, I feel like the Patriot is middle of the road. Spec Ops, avoid. Just throw it in the trash, okay? With that in mind, I'm going to give the movie, for each of these movies. So, first, Sniper Spec Ops, I'm just going to give it a 2.5, okay? That's as best as I'm going to yes, folks. So this movie is slightly better than freaking Highlander 2 because of a couple of things that I liked about, which was some of the more action sequences that really took me into, oh, we are in a war-torn country. That's all I got to say there. As for the Patriot, I'm going to give it maybe a 5.5. And like I said, the weird pacing of this movie just kind of took me out of it. But and of course, when the action was there, the action was good. But of course, a couple of things just maybe just go, okay, that was anticlimactic. But overall, I would say, yeah, go for the Patriot. It's more entertaining, and the story's better than some cliche war-torn Spec Ops story that we probably have seen that might have been ripped from a Call of Duty campaign, maybe. I don't know, all right? So that does for this week. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for some more awesome and exciting videos.